Hi, I'm Taylor. In today's video, we are going to go over the full drift synth on the Ableton Note app. If that sounds good, please like, please subscribe, but let's get into it. Okay, so if you're here and you know nothing about Ableton Drift is a synthesizer, which might be relatively obvious, but more specifically, it is a subtractive synthesizer. And the way you form sounds with a subtractive synthesizer is with filters. So you subtract frequencies out of the sound. Subtractive synthesis. I'm going to go over the details of what all of the things are in this video, but for a really in-depth with the manual version of this video, go over here. It will be with Ableton Move as the main source of how we get to the things, but I do go over all of the details and you can see the visual of what Ableton's UI in their software looks like, so it makes a little bit more sense. One extra little thing I do have to say, it is an in-app purchase for $3.99 as of filming this video to unlock all of the parameters. You still get Drift if you don't pay for the in-app purchases, but you don't get the full editability of Drift without the in-app purchase. And by $3.99, I mean $3.99 in US dollars. And one last thing to say is I plan to use only Drift, and we're going to make sounds. We're going to make a bass sound, we're going to make a chord or pad or keys sound, and we're going to make a lead sound with only using Drift. Now that I've switched camera angles, you might notice that I already have a little clip here. I don't actually remember what I did. I was playing with this yesterday. So what do we have? I think that's not the worst thing ever to start with. Okay, so the extra little housekeeping. We're at the tempo of 140. We are in E flat Dorian, and there's no groove. Okay, so let's start here. I'm going to quickly go through the parameters and their banks so that you have a little idea of the flow. So when you click into the synth, there's this little arrow. If you don't see all the banks, you tap on that, and you have oscillator, filter, envelope, LFO, modulation, and global. So right now we're in the second bank of the oscillator view. So if I go back here, it's now the first bank. So in the first bank of the oscillator view, you have the waveform for 1, its octave, its shape modulation, oscillator 2, octave, and detune. And my favorite little feature is you can see what the waveform looks like. Something I wish it did is it doesn't play the waveform like an actual oscilloscope would, but at least you get to see what the waveform looks like that you've created. Now, on the second page for the oscillator, you have pitch modification 1, pitch modification 2, transposition, the phase reset, oscillator 1 gain, oscillator 2 gain, and the noise gain. And as you can see, there's a little envelope 2 and LFO under the pitch mod 1 and pitch mod 2. That's saying which modulation sources it currently has. And the on-off of the gains over here, if you tap them, it turns them on and off, and you can see the waveform is affected. Now let's go over to filter. On the left, we have what sound sources the filters are affecting. We have the viewport of the filters. We have what type of filter it is. And then we have low pass modulation amount 2, and the key to low pass filter. The next page is envelope. And right now we are on the amp envelope. And you can see what the envelope looks like, and you have attack, decay, sustain, release. And then over here, we have the filter envelope, which is, again, showing the envelope, attack, decay, sustain, release. And the C is for cyclical, or cycling. So the C lets it cycle and turns it into another LFO. Now we go to the LFO page, and now here you have the LFO wave shape, whether it's going to re-trigger, what the wave looks like, the amount of the wave, the modulation amount, the way it is responding to things. So this one right now is currently saying frequency, but if we move around it, there's also sync and time and ratio. And then the next knob to the right of that changes depending on which one you are on over here. The next page is the modulation page, and the modulation page, so at the top of each of these, you have which modulation source you are using, and at the bottom it says what it's going to affect. So right now we have envelope 1 affecting the high pass frequency, LFO affecting the high pass frequency, the press affecting nothing. And the last page is the global page. So the global page has whether it's polyphonic or monophonic or stereo or unison. And as you can see to the right, the knob to the right changes depending on what mode you're in, how many voices it has, whether or not it actually drifts, whether you're using legato, glide time, velocity to volume amount, and the overall volume of the synth. Now that we've gone over the basics, I don't want to start with the lead sound because typically when I write music, I let the pad and the bass hold down the foundation of the music, and the lead will fill in everything in between. So right now, if we start here, it's probably going to change later. So let's save a little bit of time, and let's start with this orange one. It's already got a preset on it, but we're going to do something totally different with it. That's where the sound started. If we want, I can go in here, and I'm pretty sure I can actually just load a drift default. Yep. Okay, now that's just like a very spicy saw. And while that's fine, that's not what I'm going for. So what I'm actually going to do is, no, I want to be on page 2. I'm going to turn all the oscillators off, or the other 2 off, and let's just get... I kind of want... I think I want a pad to start with just a sine wave. I don't mind that wave. No. No. Now that we've been through them all, I'm going to start here. And then I'm going to go back and turn on oscillator 2. I'm fine with the octave. I don't really want the shape of this. No. So we're going to leave that. And I'm going to go... I do like that it's down an octave, but I want... Okay, I'm playing. Maybe now we can... No, I don't want the shape. No. The reason that it might seem a little plain is because I haven't gone over to the envelopes yet. And once I move to the envelopes, which we will do now, is I want this attack to be longer. And I think the decay can probably, or decay and sustain can come down a bit. And then I want the release to be up. So not so much release. And see that decay is too fast. So that's a little bit better, but I think if I go back over here, this lower one is too loud. So that's getting more in the right direction. Okay. So now this filter, ooh, I can move these. Okay. I don't know that I like that much, but we'll see what that does for the filter. Let's go move that. So I actually do want this the other way. So what this mod is doing is it's moving the filter on the right side, it's making it open to close. So we want to actually close this way. And so now I don't want it to react like that. So I actually need the sustain to come down. So this can go longer, go longer. That's cool. And once we had like a reverb, this could be very pretty. And it's a little snappy too. I like this. Okay. I don't actually think I have anything I want the LFO to do. So we'll save the LFO and maybe some of that fun stuff for like bass or the lead. The modulation, we could here. Ooh, what if we try stereo though? Ooh, there we go. That's fun. Could do a little drift. Glide time isn't doing anything, so. Okay. I think this is a great spot for this sound. So now let's go to effects and let's see. Let's choose. I think delay will be kind of busy. Maybe if we gently pan it, this could be nice. Okay, so. I like that. So we'll slow that down a little. I don't need the dynamic mod, but like. Okay, so it's moving a little. Okay, now here we already have a reverb. Ooh. That's kind of fun. Room size, let's go like. No, let's go big. Oh, I'm clipping over here. I like that. I think now we can bring more of this. That's too much. No, so it is really subtle. I kind of want it to swim more. like that. Cool. I like that. Okay. So now for something for like bass, like that is a farty bass. Okay. So I want this bass to be kind of clean, but have a little bit of sauce. So we're going to also go with the sine wave. But this next one, we're going to go, I think we should go, where is it? Do I not have the option on the? Oh, I don't have. Okay. So I'm going to do it backwards a little bit. Oscillator 2 is going to be the sine wave. Oscillator 1 is going to be the shortened square. But instead, we're going to go -1 on that one and regular on the 0 on the top one. And then to kick everything off real fast, global should be mono. Not going to worry about drift yet or any of that. Okay. So now that we have this bass setting here, let's see what happens when we go shape. Okay. This might be fun if we can modulate shape. This will be fun. Because it's already like a very sharp sound. Oh, can we modulate the shape? It literally says shape mod next to it. Okay, great. I'm going to do that with like, not velocity. We'll do it with an LFO. So let's do that now. So LFO currently is on, it was on sine. I actually have to go here and say, do something to it. Okay, so now if we go back to the LFO and I want the amount to be very little. Okay, that's a lot of one sound, but I like where that's at. And I also think that that same modulation for the low pass would be a good move. So we go back to the LFO. So now we go this way. Oh, it's going to go the wrong way. Actually, that would be horrible for the low pass. I'm just realizing now. So we'll do envelope 2 for that. But the low pass mod too. Can I make this? I want this to be LFO or high pass. I like that. I do want this more like this one. Okay, so I know I haven't been talking that much. I'm trying to like figure out the sound that might go well with the keys pad while also kind of making sense in general. So what I've been doing right now is I'm on envelope 2 and I've been changing the entire envelope around to affect the filter, which would be the high pass filter as far as I can tell, and see, because it's opening up and closing a little bit. And that's what the attack and decay is doing. So it's a little late to the party. Here it goes, wow, a little bit. Kind of Owen Wilson on that, but anyway. So that's kind of my thought here. And I like that the release kind of lets it, you hear the filter close a little more when I release my finger. So it's like, wow. So for what it's worth and my horrible sounds, I think we're out of sound. Nope, thickness is not happening. We could make it less sharp by moving the initial envelope attack up a little. So that's too low. So let's go up an octave so I don't do that. Oh, no. I regret that immediately. Okay, button repeat. I just had an idea using the repeats. It may work, it may not. I'm going to give it a shot and see what happens. So right now it doesn't work, but if I go to this envelope and go well, now we're starting to get somewhere. Okay. Now, there's a little moment here where turning this down might be nice. I changed the whole vibe with this bass line. So I do think I like the bass line more than that keys line. So okay, so okay. I think that's actually kind of cool. Give a little variation. That is an aggressive kit. I don't know what I'm searching for here. Let's go to a hybrid kit maybe. This will work. Okay, hold on though. Ooh, I've forgotten how to double the loop. Oh, here we go. Haha. We're gonna need to replace this though. Let's go with that one. Okay. So instead of doing this, instead of like me doing it, I'm just gonna go like this. What? There's okay. Time out. How do I? in light of doing this sound the same as all the others, let's do this one again. I don't hate that, but let's go with that one. I already like this. Where's all the way? Okay, so we're going to go like that. And again, I'm going to use the LFO to modulate the shape. But I need to... I want it to do half. Yes, but I also want it to be kind of this drifty guy. And the frequency can be slow. That is way too slow. Okay, and then the filter, we can bring this up, we can bring this guy. We don't really want that much resonance. I'm going to take the noise out of it. And let's make sure that we have noise. Okay. We don't want very much, but... I don't really want that. I also want to go to global, and we should go... We're going to do unison for this one. Okay, so now let's go to envelope, and I want a little more release on the amp. Not that much. Just a little extra. Okay, I'm okay with that. I like type 2. I'm actually pretty okay. I don't really feel like I need to do anything with the mod. I mean, what does it do if we do this? Let's actually go to envelope 2 because that's kind of been our modulation envelope. I don't hate it. Okay, so now let's go and add a delay. Well, luckily it's already here. Less feedback. Filter mod. Maybe a tiny bit of time mod. Less feedback. Ooh, that's kind of fun. And then now, reverb. now I gotta figure out something to play, but I think we've kind of made all the sounds. And now I actually want more feedback. Time out. Can I not type it? Oh, you're killing me. Was it 125? Okay, well that loop now is cheese ball. No, thank you. Okay. Actually kind of fun. What if we go down? I liked up better. Oh, okay, let's do that one more time. I don't know why I stopped it, actually. Whoa, 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 whoa. It, so I need to go here, go to here. Okay, so my last little thoughts here is that this drift synth is now too the lead synth is now a little too like in your face for this, and I think the way to tone it down is the filter. But what's nice is if we were to build this out further, we could easily just that's cool. Now the pad keys sound is like my least favorite part. I think that was a pretty exhaustive way to go through making something with the full drift on an iPad or a phone. I think it's really great that we have a fully customizable, fully editable synth, subtractive synth that is really powerful, and you can make some really interesting sounds with it, and it's on my mobile device. It's crazy what we can do with music. I think this is very enjoyable to be able to make this. I like the interface on the computer the most, but the fact that I can do it on my iPad and have it with me wherever I am is really enjoyable. Note is exactly that. It's a note-taking app where you can really go sound design, but its integration with Ableton is really awesome because this little idea that I have, I can take these sounds and now use them in Ableton and actually build them with the user interface that I prefer. I have one note. I would love for the oscilloscope to move when you make sound and when you morph the sounds. That would be pretty sick. Other than that, thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. If you want to support me, I have affiliate links down below. I have memberships on YouTube, but the most important thing is if you like and you subscribe, I'll see you in the next one.